MovieWeb.com.
So I wanted to begin by asking you guys about working with Mike Leigh. He's got this reputation of the way he works. Is it the script? Is it improvised? Is it how does that whole process work? Because there's such a legend behind his work.
Well, there's no script when we start,
Okay.
so it's absolutely nothing when we start, and we build up our characters on a one-to-one basis with him, and then we get to a certain stage, and then we start working with the other actors who have been doing the same thing, and improvising, and ultimately, you, from those improvisations, a very detailed script is developed, which is what we film. So there's no improvising in front of camera.
Oh, okay, I see. So you actually so are you talking with Mike about the characters? Does he have an idea of what the character is?
He might have an idea, but we don't know at all when we start. So there's 5 months of rehearsal before we see a camera. So in that time, the characters are developed, the relationships are developed, and the backstories are developed, and then we can improvise and then start getting a script from those improvisations.
So it's like once you're in front of the cameras, you really know what you're doing.
Yeah,
these
yeah.
Yeah, you
characters, know
do.
the
I mean, that's the
story.
bonus. You are so comfortable in the skin of the character because you've had really considerable amount of time to get them together. So it's very good. And so you kind of you can almost throw the characters into any situation, and you can trust how they're going to behave because they become second nature to you.
And it seems as an actor that would be a very freeing process. I mean, did you enjoy
Yeah,
working
it's
in this
very
way?
liberating.
It's
yeah.
why we've both been
That's why we do
back
it.
many times over 30 years, you know. And because you're part of the process, you're part of the whole creative process.
It's very
And,
creative, yeah.
I mean, as Tom and Jerry, we were part of choosing the location, choosing the decor of the house and what they do and how they do it. So, and then very much part of developing the script. I mean, everything that Tom says was originally improvised by me, and then we sort of, with Mike, hone it down to a very tight script. So you're much more involved than you are in most films.
And is the story really broken in those improvisations? Is that where the narrative and
Yes,
the
it is
plot
really.
comes from?
No, it all comes out. It can't come from anywhere else. It can only come from the improvisations and the stuff that we come up with.
I mean, Mike defines things like which we don't see on screen, but the death of Tom's
Sure.
sister-in-law in Derby, so there's going to be a funeral. So he defines those sort of things, those outside events that happen that obviously affect the characters. So that's all part of his.
So he has a master plan. He's sort of the puppeteer pulling the strings
Yeah.
in a sense.
Yeah.
Yes,
I
he
mean,
has a master plan that builds as he goes. He doesn't have a master plan on day one.
Right.
But he obviously, by the time we come to shoot it, he has to have a very clear idea of where it's going. And then we pretty much, rehearse, structure dialogue, then shoot, rehearse, structure the dialogue, shoot. So we're kind of doing it as we go along. So we don't know at the beginning of the shooting where the film's going to end at all.
Well, and tell me about creating your character, because she's, such a big piece of the film, and it's such an interesting character. I mean, how did you sort of create that, and tell me about doing that role?
Well, I mean, again, he didn't come up and say this is the kind of woman I want us to create. We started by pooling bits. I'd talk a lot about people that I knew or people that I'd seen that morning on the street, or you just start talking about stuff, and then you sort of settle on an area of a character that you're going to play, and then you go back to the beginning of this fictitious character's life, and you create their life in full. Everything: parents, schools, circle of friends, marriages, breakdowns, everything. Yeah. So you have this catalogue, like you have your own personal backstory, and so do I. Well, so does Mary.
Right. And with Tom, could you tell me a little bit about his relationship and marriage? And it's such a loving relationship that he has with his wife.
he was.
And it kind of rubs off on his son, Joe, as well.
Yeah, I mean, they're a happy, they're a very lucky couple. They were met at university and obviously fell in love and knew they'd found their life partner, really. So that happens, and they've both got fulfilling professional careers, which they bring home, and they're very happy with that. So they know they're lucky, and they open up their home to their friends who aren't so lucky.
The less fortunate.
Yeah, absolutely.
sorry, Tanya.
I knew you were going to do that. Oh, my life.